What up, everybody? Well, I got a little update today. I This past Thursday I went to the dyno and well, experienced a fuel issue. One of my fuel pumps on the fuse melted on me. I'll show you. Well, there it is. Well, that's the melting portion of it. This is a Racetronics dual fuel pump setup wiring, and I've had issues before on the pump side of things back there, but so both pumps are still working right now, but one of them was this fuse one was just toasted completely, really bad. Actually, you know what, I may have it here in my driver's seat. But what I'm gonna do in this video, yeah, here it is. I mean, it's completely cooked. So what we decided, we made a pull. James made a pull there at the dyno, and while we were on there, it made 750, 740, something like that, on one pump. This is on E85. So actually, to be pushing that much power on 8 pounds of boost with E85 in a single pump, man, that is extremely good. I mean, that's way up there. And then it just was dropping like a rock, as lean as it could go, obviously because my other pump wasn't keeping up apparently. But anyways, well, instead of trying to fix the problem there, I ended up deciding what we're gonna do. New game plan. I'm gonna go ahead and put my new intake on, which I don't think I've showed you guys, but I'm gonna show you here in this video. Updates of what is to come on this intake deal. So we're gonna put a drive-by-wire setup on here. I'm going to change my bypass valve back to the smaller ProCharger one, but I'm gonna run dual bypass valves. So I'm gonna put this one on retirement and run 2 bypass valves on the hot side of the intercooler instead of running it on this side, because I started thinking, man, it gets awfully hot right here. Even just idling, this intercooler picks up some heat tremendously. So I was like, imagine just driving, cruising, what kind of temperature soak you're getting onto your intercooler, versus I could just be dumping it without passing through the intercooler, so help the intercooler just that much more. So I'm going to do that. We're going to weld 2 bypass valves right here. We're going to find a good spot for them. We're going to put this new welded up intake that I made with the valve covers. I went ahead and ordered the 24X EV6 plug Terminator X Max with the 7-inch digital dash screen and their GPS module. I'm thinking I'm gonna put all the PCM ECU stuff right up in the glove box area here, and I'm gonna figure out a way whether I'm gonna put a control switch kind of inside the glove box. Maybe, I'm not too sure, but that way I can trigger my second fuel pump, and prior to making any kind of hits and using the car in boost and big power, that way I can pre-test stuff. So I'm fixing to make big changes to it. With the Terminator system, I'm going to be able to wire up my methanol the way I need it, possibly my electric water pump, just various stuff on top of another thing was, let me bring by you, is when I switched over to this Lt1 mono throttle body, I was experiencing high RPM, boosted RPM, I guess you would say, throttle sticking. So obviously that's not a good thing. You don't want to be caught in a situation, and that's what I have a spring on here. For anybody who might be thinking, I did have a good size spring, so when it had the tension on there, it had some decent tension. Anyways, we're gonna do drive-by-wire. This thing's gonna run so much better, so much cleaner. My tuner said, James, I trust him, what he tells me. And on top of previous cars that I've done and built, making 700 wheel, 800 wheel, with drive-by-wire stuff. LS motors, obviously. They just run so good. They run like stock cars. I'm so tired of chasing gremlins on this thing. Another thing that I was experiencing is my TPS sensor would always read like 16% at idle, unless I had to come every time. A lot of times I had to physically come over here, reset my TPS when I started up the car, hope that it was back to zero, and a lot of times it was at 5%. I'm so tired of all that. So and running a Terminator system, this car absolutely 100% needs a system that's going to keep up with what I'm going to be doing for this car. So let me walk over here, and I'm going to show you my new intake and blower setup that I'm going to be running in the future. Now, this is kind of mock-up stage, and before I went to tuning, I was going to run a cable throttle body, LS. This is a 102 millimeter LS throttle body that I did, and I already had it V-band welded onto the throttle body. But after talking with James, and we were sitting down and talking, he said, drive by wire, you know what, if you can run a throttle body like that, and he didn't know I had this intake going already. He said, you know what, let's just go ahead and do that. So I told him, you know what, I'm all game, man. I got this intake that I built, and I had plans already to do it, so let's just go ahead and do it all. This blower, however, it is a F1X reverse rotation. This is not how it's gonna stay. This is just so I can get a visual look of everything. But right now the main focus is not the blower part. To be honest with you, I have no clue what this F1R is gonna end up making on us. So it could be making a lot more power than I presume. So honestly, at this point, what I'm really kind of more concerned about is the block being able to handle it, because I do not have it filled whatsoever. It is just stock block with modifications done, to obviously handle what it can. But there's breaking points, and I'm kind of worried we're going to find that breaking point. But, it's part of this is just a toy of mine. It's fun. I like to be unique. I like to be different. But with this intake, I'm going to be running distribution block back here with my vacuum hoses, and I'm going to clean up all the wiring. So you're going to see absolutely no type of wiring. Very, very just little. You're just going to see the throttle body one. The injectors, what you see here, just to plug in, and then I'm going to actually run them behind and crank and cam wires. I'm going to run that kind of stuff underneath the oil pan and come back up. So I'm going to take my time, whether I cut this harness, the new harness that I get from Holly, and extend some of the wires. That's what I'm going to do. All the vacuum ports and stuff are going to be just all hidden. So, the plugs that are like right here, I left them. I didn't weld them shut. So all I could do is just put a plug on them, which in case I needed any kind of vacuum here for whatever reason, I've got them, available to me. So anyways, this is going to be awesome, because this top plate here, now I can line up my head ports perfectly and see all the stuff, and when I ported the car. So that's the game plan. As you can see, big old mess without my fuel rail covers, and I'm very particular. I'm very picky how I want my stuff. And this right here, I just cannot stand how busy that looks and how all that mess looks for me. I just can't stand it. Anyways, like this, I'm just super excited just by the way everything turned out. The dyno was a fail/success. Car is making ridiculous power. Obviously with this new combo, intercooler, the throttle body, and the the new cam that we just did. 8 pounds of boost, making 750 wheel at 4,700 RPM. Man, I don't even know what we're going to be looking at as far as when it's ready to make a full pull. I'm telling you what, it's going to be making some big power, and I don't doubt whatsoever. You know, it's well going to be passing to the 4 digits, deep in the fours. You know, I don't know. We're going to see. You know, I don't like throwing numbers, but I just like seeing how the car's performing. And this is 100% street car with AC still. So that's what makes it. And a lot of guys think that, you know, you have to do turbos to get to this kind of power level. You know, I'm a Pro Charger fan guy. You know, this is still on a 12 rib setup. It's not even on a cog setup, so who knows if it's still slipping to an extent. We haven't ever seen slippage from since I've had this whole setup. But I did always make sure that my pulleys were 100% lined up, and I did make blower bracket reinforcements to it, so we don't have any kind of flexing going on with it, as if you were to just use the Pro Charger bracket alone. Anyways, I'm going to conclude this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe to it because it's about to get crazy with all the new stuff coming into it, and I've got big plans here for this car. I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but this car is actually going to go into retirement after this new stuff, and I'm actually building a new chassis for it. So this car is going to be sold off, but I'm going to gut it, take all my stuff from it, and just put a stock LS in it and selling it. So if you guys are kind of interested in buying the car, you could let me know. But first I'm going to finish this, and then I will sell it to you, whoever comes up and wants it. It's a beautiful car. I have tons of hours into the bodywork, and the paint alone. But just let me know if you want. Subscribe to it, guys. Subscribe to the channels. Get the bell. Light it up so you get notified. This is going to be one heck of a ride. You know, I'm super stoked. This car has been through so much, and it's not even nowhere near close to where it's going to stop. So anyways, I'll conclude it there. We'll see you next time, and God bless, guys. See ya.